Pablo Picasso. This is the PowerPoint that's in Otis, so you can always go back to this and watch it on your own. We're going to focus on his portraits. His portraits were very unique. They were usually, the faces usually had two sides to them, and that's what you are going to try to mimic. So Picasso was known for being a cubist. And what that means is he would take objects that normally would be painted flat and he would put different angles and planes and edges on them to kind of give it this three-dimensional feel. And that's the cubist part. So he liked painting items that normally would just look straightforward, like a bottle would be how you look at a bottle if you're standing in front of it. But he added all these angles and corners and gave it this different angles that you could see from the front view. So this picture you see is an example of that. And in this painting, same thing. You have a bottle and a glass, and the bottle and the glass have so many edges and shapes and planes that it's a different point of view. It's not what people were used to. This is the cubist part of Picasso. So he put cubism in his portraits as well, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So if you look at Picasso's portraits, and he had quite a few of them, what they had in common was that the faces were usually had two sides to them. Half of the face would be looking forward, and half of the face would be a side profile, and you can see it in these examples. It's almost like the faces had two faces in them. The eyes usually did not match. There were sometimes two noses or one nose that went in different directions, different lips. If you look at the baby has two lips, two noses. If you look at the picture on the left, the eyes are not really where they should be. And on the right-hand side, you can see a bit of a profile view. This is what he did. And it was very unique. Nobody had ever done this before. In the next portrait, you can see a woman sleeping. And although her eyes are symmetrical, her face is definitely not symmetrical. One half is much wider than the other half. The hair is only on one side. That is very typical of Picasso. So here's two other portraits, and you can see clearly that there's two sides to each of the faces, asymmetrical. One half is facing forward, one half is a profile view. And this is one of his more famous paintings, the portrait of Dora. This was the woman in his life. And if you look at the portrait, again, profile and forward view, both in the face. On the right is an actual photo of her. This piece is actually going to auction this year, and they're guessing it's going to fetch $30 million. Pretty crazy. Okay, so what you guys are going to do is draw your own Picasso face following the rules of Picasso. I would start first by drawing the head, and you don't want the head to be a symmetrical or a perfect oval or a perfect circle. He was very lopsided. Half the face should maybe be happy, the other half sad. He was very good at making two different emotions, or one facing forward, one facing the side. Feel free to use the nose, eyes, and lip examples that are in Otis. He used often the same eyes, the same nose, the same lips. And, there's really no rules except that you want two sides to the face, and it shouldn't be symmetrical, and it should be abstract, meaning not realistic, not like how Leonardo da Vinci would paint it, obviously. This is an abstract artist. So it shouldn't look realistic, and it should be very lopsided and uneven. When you're done tracing your Picasso face, make sure you add a new layer and put that layer underneath so that when you're painting the colors don't cover the black outline. Really important. Add a new layer, put that layer underneath, and you can see that by me doing that, it's not covering the black lines.